kena minta orang anjak satu row.
Ajak satu row.
Ya, sebab depan tu kena kosong satu row. At first jangan tak bagi kat berapa banyak orang. So kita akan tambah 2 row kat belakang, then the whole audience anjak satu row.
Okay. Tapi dia orang kata Baiklah hadirin yang dihormati, mari sama-sama kita berikan tepukan. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of our distinguished guests. Let's give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Hadirin sekalian, dipersilakan duduk. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all. Ladies and gentlemen, yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Nurza Zakaria, the President Olympic Council of Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Karim Ibrahim, President of Malaysia Athletics. Yang berbahagia Datuk Marina Chin, Chairman of Institut Sukanegara, National Sports Institute. Yang berbahagia Datuk Wan Hisham Wan Saleh, Deputy President of Malaysia Athletics, Madam Josephine Kang, Vice President of Malaysia Athletics, yang berbahagia Datuk Ana Malai, yang berbahagia Datuk Sri Harjit Singh, Madam Rias Tuti, ADC Jakarta, Madam Soha Marzuk and Siti Adia Tawang, World Athletics Moderator, Professor Madeline Burma, Moderator for Forum, Madam K. Maheswari, former National Hockey Captain and esteemed corporate leader. Yang berbahagia Datuk M. Rajamani, our legendary national athlete, former national athlete. Madam G. Chanti and Madam Vatanta, our inspiring ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gender Leadership Forum 2025. Selamat datang diucapkan. So, untuk pagi ini, for this morning, kita akan ringkaskan majlis kita. Jadi to officially begin our program, let us now invite Madam Josephine Kang, the Vice President of Malaysia Athletics and Organising Chairperson, to deliver the welcoming remarks. Please welcome.
Very good morning to all. Yang berbahagia, Tan Sri Dato' Sri Dr. Noza Zakaria, President of the Olympic Council Malaysia, Dato' Karim Ibrahim, President of Malaysia Athletics, Dato' Manira Chin, Chairman of ISN Malaysia, Malaysia Athletic Council members, ADC Jakarta representative, moderators from World Athletics, distinguished panelists, former national athletes, officials, active athletes, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Malaysia Athletics, it gives me a great pleasure to warmly welcome all of you to the Gender Leadership Forum 2025. Theme: Women's Participations in Sports Issues and Challenges. This morning, we gathered not only to discuss the realities faced by women in sports, but to speak new energy, to inspire changes, and to build a future where women's voices, talents, and leaderships are equally celebrated in every arena. The world of sports is evolving, and Malaysia Athletics is proud to be part of the transformation. We believe when women rise, the sport rises with them. In performance, in integrity and impact, okay? Through this forum, we hope to create a very meaningful platform for dialogue, membership, and collaborations. It is also a moment to honor those who have paved the way before us. Our athletes, coaches, administrators, and to encourage the next generation of women to step forward with confidence and courage. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Yang Berbahagia, Tan Sri Dato' Sri Dr. Noza Zakaria, for his continued support and leadership. To our distinguished panelists for sharing their invaluable insights, and to all present here today for your continued commitments and advancing gender equality in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, may today mark another milestone in our collective journey towards a more inclusive and progressive sports community. Together, let us make history, let us shape the future, and let us continue to champion women in athletics and beyond. With that, it is my great honor to officially welcome everyone to the Gender Leadership Forum 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Josephine, for the inspiring words and your dedication in leading this initiative. Jadi sementara kita menunggu acara seterusnya, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the discussion, allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists for today's forum with theme Women's Participation in Sports Issues and Challenges. With our Professor Dr. Madeline Burma from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, who will be leading the conversation with our three esteemed panelists. So, our first panelist, siapa tidak kenal dengan yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Nur Zakaria, tapi sebelum tu saya nak bacakan sedikit biodata beliau. Beliau merupakan President of OCM, Vice President of OCA for Southeast Asia Zone, Honorary Life President of BAM, dan berikutnya beliau juga merupakan Council Member of Badminton World Federation. And congratulations to Tan Sri for being appointed as Chair of Ethnic Commission of Islamic Solidarity Sports Association recently on Wednesday 22nd October, awarded the Anugerah Tokoh Sukan Majlis Sukan Wilayah Persekutuan 2023-2024 on Thursday. Tan Sri baru saja dan successfully organised the 2025 Olympic Day Run semalam dengan 1,000 pelari berkumpul di Stadium Bukit Jalil. Dan kita teruskan dengan memperkenalkan yang berbahagia Datuk Marina Chin. Beliau merupakan legenda olahraga negara, merupakan bekas pengetua Sekolah Sukan Bukit Jalil, pengarah bahagian sukan di Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, dan sekarang beliau memegang jawatan wanita pertama yang memegang jawatan as Chairman of the National Sports Institute. Dan seorang lagi panelis kita, Miss K. Maheswari, merupakan former National Hockey Captain and Independent Non-Executive Director of Companies. Jadi, saya persilakan ke semua panelis untuk ke atas dan dipersilakan our moderator, Professor Dr. Madeline Burma.
Thank you very much. Selamat pagi. Nama saya Madeline Burma. My name is Madeline Burma. I'm not from Myanmar. In case any of you thought that there's some Myanmaris among us here. I feel really, really honored to be invited to chair or moderate this session today. As I was coming, because my background is economics. I used to, my peer is economics, and from the university. So when I arrived at the Mines Resort, suddenly I met all the names and photos that I grew up with. Datuk Marina, mana tadi Datuk Rajaswari, we met inside the elevator. And I said, oh my goodness, And then Mahesh, I know, these are names that I saw on papers, Tan Sri. Yours is a bit different because you are more into the governance side of it. So, nama gah tu lain sikit. Yeah. So, when we saw this name, and I was saying, oh my goodness, I will be surrounded by, icons. you know, woman who has shaped Malaysian sports, you know. But I'm not too sure whether my students in UKM remember them. You know, this is the saddest part about how kita remember our icon. And then tadi I was sitting with Mahes, and suddenly the introduction was a former athlete. I kata ada former athlete. We academics, we don't call ourselves former. The most we call ourselves mantan je lah, you know. And not use the word bekas. Bekas is pinggan mangkuk. We use the word mantan. Okay? All right. So that's the brief introduction. Now, I'm very honored to be seated together with these three honorable speakers we have here. Really distinguished names. Tadi walaupun being introduced briefly. Yeah? Okay. How I will go around with this session is that we will have three parts to the session. Okay? The first part, we will just discuss generally about women in sports. And then followed later briefly by discussion with Dato' Marina and Mahes about their experience, you know, as a sportswoman. And finally, of course, Tan Sri, but not at the least, but we will also get you to chip in about how do you want to move on from here. You know, we've been talking, I mean, now it's 2:25 and we're still talking about issues and challenges about women in sports. Really sad, yeah? You know. So things like this should not be at this level, and I wish we have more crowd today. You know, I come from Sarawak. I am from Sarawak. Hey, okay. And sports is a big thing in Sarawak. So when I was invited to this event today, and I said, oh my goodness, I naklah dengar suara cerita-cerita all these big names di Semenanjung. Kami orang Sarawak paling jauh pun terjun dalam sungai kalau swimming kan. That's why we have people like Pandalela, and then but we have big names in Sarawak. Yeah. So thank you very much for inviting me here. Okay, so we will start the round by I will ask Tan Sri dulu, Tan Sri, and then Mahes. Just a general question. Macam tutorial dalam exam di. Okay. So this is just a general overview. Yeah? Tan Sri, in your opinion, yeah? Or later I will have to ask, I will ask Mahesh and also Marina. In Malaysia, we can consider ourselves, we have moved forward quite far in terms of our achievement in terms of sports, women in sport. Do you think it still exists, gender inequality? Still, does men still, up in the front there? You are up there at the moment right now, so I'm sure you can have a helicopter view. And maybe I will ask the two of you later. What do you think of it? Do we still have, inequality?
Thank you, Puan Moderator, Puan Madeline. Before I answer that question, first let me say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of you, and salam sejahtera. And I also would like to sincerely thank the organizer. My deepest appreciation to the organizer for persistently asking me to be here today, especially the President, Datuk Karim. Then we have Deputy Datuk Wan Hisham. We have Puan Josephine, Puan Rita, daripada Indonesia, Ria, and Puan Yati. We have Datuk Hajid. We have all the legends here. Of course, we have Datuk Marina. Datuk Marina, as mentioned earlier, is the current chairperson of Institut Sukan. Okay, soon to be reappointed. Okay. And I was her predecessor in 2015. I was the chair of ISN. Distinguished guests and also peserta-peserta yang dihormati sekalian. This is not an easy topic for me. As the president of Olympic Council of Malaysia, umbrella body of 58 sport, of course, a lot of questions has been asked about the role of women in sports. Mahesh is here. Sports is not like corporate. sports consists of people who are very passionate about sports. They are ex-athletes, they are legends in sport, and some of them actually, this is like national service for everyone. They are not paid well, not like corporate. You have a certain qualification, then you say, oh, it's not fair, it's not equal. Because why? I got the same qualification. But in sports, it's different. Sport is about people who really, as I said, the result is always intangible. You bring feel-good factor, when you see everyone is united, when you see, your athletes get gold medals, those are the intangible thing that it cannot be compensated with money. So when you reach this level, when people ask whether there's enough women or not, my question is always whether there's enough people that actually wanted to be in sports. Sometimes when you become athletes, you ask a question, there's no safety net. When COVID happened, there are athletes who sell their medals, who go and sell nasi lemak. Because why? What is the future in sports? How big is our industry? So that is why it is imperative for people like us to look what are real issues. And these are one of the issues, gender equality. Because some people in the sport association, they've been there forever. They don't want to leave that post. Because why? It comes with benefits. Dia boleh pergi overseas, dia boleh pergi jalan, dia boleh jumpa orang, But to define everyone in their job scope is not easy. So when you talk about women now, from a IOC point of view, International Olympic Committee, for the first time, IOC has a woman president, Christy Coventry. It's, 9 presidents before that. Christy Coventry is the president number 10. 10 president of IOC. 9 before that are male dominant space in IOC. Look at Malaysia. For the second time, we have a woman minister. And you look at YB Hanayu, she's very dynamic, she's very progressive. She is very, very focused on women empowerment and women leadership. So if you look from one NOC, one National Olympic Committee to other Olympic Committee, it is in terms of speed and space, in terms of speed and narrative, is very different. If you compare me maybe to my colleague in other countries, in terms of gender equality, maybe some are faster, some are very slow. So then look at Malaysia. I think we are fortunate, as I said, we have a woman minister who put that in place. Sometimes we can just talk, but what is the blueprint? Where's the blueprint? Where is the mechanism? How do you address that? Do we want to implement quota? Do we want to impose quota like corporate? Corporate is easy. Even easy, it's still not there yet. Just imagine in sports. So I think that is just my teaser for today. I mean, to create that conversation. And this is a very important issue. There are a lot of unsung heroes that is not being recognized and appreciated. Look at our legends. Look at our athletes, ex-athletes. How do you retain this so that people wants to be in sport? That is always my issue. Now we talk about governance, we talk about marketing, we talk about finance. We have to inject a lot more professionalism into running of sports. Because when you become a leader, you take both the glamour and the pain. You cannot just take the glamour part. When I was the a badminton president of the BAM. When I came in 2017, I got only one guy called Chong Wei, and he was on the decline. But how do I transform it? It has to go through process. But process is painful. Malaysian like instant noodle. Malaysia like instant success. When the players won, oh, very good players, you know. When players lost, president go. And yet, we are not paid for that job. It is purely because of the love of our country. So, these are issues. And I'm today so happy to be here because why? We should start a movement about this gender equality, getting more women in. Because women by nature very diligent, you know, very trustworthy, you know, very focused. Sebab kadang-kadang lelaki ni dia pusing-pusing sikit. Dia cakap banyak. You know, I have to admit that. But we are very fortunate today. If Datuk Karim can call for gender equality conference, it means that the country has moved. Okay, that's my...
Thank you, Tan Sri. That's a very good start for our discussion today. I mean, you know, sitting in this midst, you know, when I listen to your discussion about, you know, during the COVID and how our athletes are selling medals. And here I was when watching, you know, the Olympics. You see American athletes, wah, dengan gahnya. And here we are still struggling with all these issues. Yeah? Okay, Datuk Marina, in your opinion, Datuk Marina, what do you think are the main causes of this low, you know, the situation that we are in right now? Why do you think that women participation are still relatively low compared to others, in your opinion? This is just a general discussion.
Okay. First and foremost, I don't believe that women participation is low in terms of competitive sports, overall sports. Women do take part. What is missing in our country is women in decision-making positions, leadership. And it makes a difference because why? If you don't have a woman representative at your excos when you decide things and things like that, the women are most likely going to be sidelined, okay? From my experience, what I've seen is in individual sports, if you shine, you know, fine, you're going to be there, get all the funding, get all the whatever. But in certain sports where there is a lot of funding, but the women see very little of it, okay? I'm not going to mention sports because it's not fair to them. I don't know how or why they are doing these things, but it is the truth. There are certain sports where the men are overly paid and you know, they get funding for lots of programs and things like that, and the women have to practically beg to get 5-6 programs a year or something like that. Okay, so this is where this thing is concerned. I think even where coaching and things like that are concerned, it is still a lot of times the National Sports Association and the culture of Malaysia. Malaysia, although it is changing, we still have this thought where a woman's place is at home, looking after the husband, looking after the children, and once you get married, you're not encouraged to go out and do things. I have been very lucky in that sense, in the sense that I have very strong support from my parents. And although my mother-in-law was very traditional, but she was a very strong woman, and she didn't mind me being a strong woman. And she allowed me to go out and do things. Okay, so I've managed to stay with the sports in various roles until today. I believe that, I'll give you an example, even where coaching is concerned. All right, the government has set aside a grant for national sports associations to encourage them to do sport-specific coaching courses. All right? It is a grant bantuan. It is not an outright grant, it's a grant bantuan where we pay for the lecturers, we pay for the venue, and we pay a certain amount for administrative courses. The only condition we have for approval of this grant, you must have 30% women and ex-athletes participation. And we have a lot of associations telling us that they cannot find women participants. And I don't believe that is true, because from our work with the ground levels and things like that, we have women who are out there doing coaching without a coaching certificate, based on experience and things like that. They are doing the coaching, but when you ask the associations, they say, we don't have women who want to become coaches. It's very contradictory. You know, so it's a matter of, I suppose, if you sincerely want to, you can find. Especially, you know, you can work with Ministry of Education. There are more female teachers than men teachers, and right now in schools and institutions of higher learning, you need to have a license to coach. So I am very sure there is no shortage of participants. So I hope, you know, we will encourage, and especially in things like, I've had this experience with One Sports when I was chef de mission of the 2017 SEA Games. We had a female team managed by a woman, and then 2 months before the actual games, they changed the manager to a man. Why? When I asked why, they said, oh, the man is better able to get sponsors and things like that. I don't think that's a good enough reason. You know? So I really hope our male colleagues, our male counterparts would help us achieve equity in the management of team, the coaching of teams and things like that. And I feel then we will encourage better performances among the women, because they'll be more comfortable with the officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Marina. Mahesh, do you want to add on to that issue here? We have something to add on? Yeah.
Okay, I actually believe that, you know, you need to know what the athletes went through in the 80s, the 90s, or the 70s, right up to now. And those athletes in this era actually should be very, very grateful, you know, for the support, the funding, the sponsorship, the mental health. They look at everything for you. For us, those days, it was completely different. But we didn't complain, you know, because we thought that was it. Okay? Like, for example, I just want to tell you some real stories, okay? Like for the national women's team, we had to stay in a police barrack with 10 people inside, whereas the men's team, same era, they stayed in hotels. Okay? So staying in the police barrack with 10 ladies in one room with just 2 bathrooms was something that we got used to. And we didn't complain. You know, and the food was so bad. You know, we had to beg for an egg for meals. You know, we just had the normal kind of meals, no supplements, no vitamins, nothing given to us. I think Marina can attest to that. So, you know, during our time, it was totally different. So you need to appreciate, you know, what are the things, you know, that we have evolved. Sports has evolved tremendously, okay? Like for me, I quit school. I took a risk at 18. I quit school at 18 to answer the national call-up, okay? So answered national call-up, I mean, to convince my father was the biggest headache, because he was in the education department. He was an organizer of schools. So education was really, really important for him. So the promise I made to him was that when I decide to retire, I will go back and study, okay? So, but I was fortunate to have sponsors in terms of teachers. Okay, I just want to tell you a story. The lady sitting there, Miss Savitri Sivam, is my teacher. And she was my idol. Okay, she was the one who actually, she's a double international, so she was the one who actually inspired me to be where I am today. So I think athletes need sponsors like that. You know, somebody to look up to, somebody to teach them, to actually tell them that you can actually do it. You can be like me, you can do it. So we need those kind of people around. So what I did, after that was I became a double international myself, but I actually did athletics when I didn't have hockey. So athletics was my hobby, sort of like hobby, and actually Marina was coaching me during that time as well. So she can attest to it that I was a good athlete as well. So what we did as athletes, I mean, she passed her knowledge to me, my teacher passed the knowledge to me, and I passed my knowledge to Shanti. So that's how the cycle actually went. Okay, we must learn to give back and don't start always complaining about equality and all that. It will come to you. If, like Marina said, if you are an individual athlete, nobody can touch you, because at the end of the day, your results will be there. But if you're in team sports, it's a bit difficult, right? Because team sports, all 11, all 16 must be able to, be at that level to win a game and, that kind of thing. So we actually went through all that phase during, my era and all that. And we are very grateful that, we didn't grudge, like sometimes we are playing the 80s and we see those people in the 90s and those in the year 2000 and all that. They get a lot of things. But in our hearts, we didn't grudge it, We didn't grudge them for, we had to buy our own hockey sticks. I had to repair my own shin guards. I had to wear Fung Kiong boots during that time because there were no sponsors. Nobody was giving us any money during that time, We only had what? When we represented Malaysia in the SEA Games, Asian Games, Intercontinental Games were only the outfit. You get 2 sets of jersey and that's all. And you have to wash it yourself, okay? Nowadays it's different, right? They get, you can send them to the laundry and everything is done for you. But no, we have to come back quickly, wash, and tomorrow we have to ask, hey, what color are we using tomorrow? Huh? Oh, blue, again blue? Okay, we got to wash it quickly because we just played with blue. So there were a lot of hardships that we went through, but no complaints because I am very, very proud to have represented the country in the 80s with all those issues. But moving forward, sports has evolved, like Tan Sri said, sports have evolved a lot, but you need a lot of patience as well because it is something not that, it comes overnight. When you do a development program and all that, you need a long-term plan. Short-term plan does not work. You need like a 5-year plan or, that kind of thing. So you need to be patient to actually get there. So this equality on women and all that started only very lately. Okay, maybe early 2000 and all that, we started lately. I'm in the 30% Women's Club as well at the corporate side. So I do a lot of mentoring for women on the corporate side and all that, but I use sports. I always make reference to sports in the education. You know why? Because I grew up in sports. I love sports. And because of that, I'm here where I am today. But the only difference I made was that I decided to retire at a very early age. 1986, after the Asian Games, I retired. The reason why I retired was the promise I made to my father, that I will go back and study. So I went back to study. Of course, at that time, you got to get married. Like, you're 26, you're very old already, as an Indian. So go and get married kind of thing. So, okay, got married, did the kids, got the kids and all that, and then went back to so-called school. So that's why there is a little bit of difference in my career because I retired early and I had a plan B for me. Okay, so I went to corporate and that's how I was working in a bank. So for 47 years, I was actually working in a bank. 3 different banks, but 47 years. So I only retired like 2 months ago. So coming back to equality of women, I think we have grown. We have actually grown. So we must be able to appreciate that and take advantage also of that. You don't be so laid back and expect the government and everybody to do something for you. It shouldn't be that way. You should do something for yourself. You should ask what you are doing also for the country, not what the country is doing for you all the time. I'm sure there's there was a US phrase on that, what you do for your country and that kind of thing. But I always believe that, you should be the one to charter your destiny. not the country. Don't depend on people. You know, you must always have a plan B in your life. Don't think that, you know, you represent the country for 10 years, 15 years, and the country is expected to pay you pension and all that. No way. Okay? You need to have a life of your own, plan and charter it as early as you can. If you're going into your national service and all that, you know, be proud that you're representing the country. You know, we wear the badge with a lot of pride. Okay? But at the end of the day, we also need to do something for ourselves because we need to sustain our life maybe to 70, 80 years old and all that. So please don't go and depend always on the government for things. I mean, that's my message to everybody. You must charter your own life for yourself.
Oh, that's a very good advice, Mahesh, from someone who, you know, who has represented the country and then going into the corporate sector, the idea of having to balance, like between sports and your career and things like that. Okay. So, Tan Sri, another thing that I would like to get your opinion, Tan Sri, women are given leadership roles, ceremonial roles. What do you think? Is that true in leadership position? Because when you talk about the 30% thing in Malaysia, even the corporate sector, as you mentioned just now, we can't even achieve that. What more in sports? So even if there are in sport, if people like Marina is there, Mahesh is there, are they just ceremonial roles, or is this real solid roles that they can play and they can really play it well? What do you think, Tan Sri?
That's a very good question. The fundamental issues and problem actually lies with the grassroots at the states. So when you want to set a national sport association, at the moment, if you look at the structure, it consists of the representative from the 14 states, for example. And these 14 states has not changed in terms of the structure at the ESCO and the council, in terms of women empowerment. Yeah, maybe some states are a bit more advanced, but generally you can see, for example, I always give this example, BAM. Only one woman council, that's from Selangor, but the rest of the state will send the band. If these are the guys who are actually running the state, where will be the woman? So this is the so-called prevalent, or these are issues that needs to be called spade a spade. You need to re-engineer the system. Until and when you don't re-engineer the system, you get this. I mean, to say crude, garbage in, garbage out. You cannot get it unless you change at the grassroots. Okay? That's the level of the council or the ESCOs or the president, deputy president, whatever at the state. And these guys become the National Sport Association leaders. Yeah? So that's one part. Second part is the people who runs the association. That's the management part. Yeah? For example, I'll give you an example again. There are a lot of Malaysian outside there, actually women, that actually run sport association outside Malaysia, because Malaysia don't give them the opportunity. I'll give you a good example. When I came in, I need to have a general manager, a new one. Then I've chosen Michelle Chai. Michelle Chai, a woman, a lady from Kedah, was the CEO of UAE football. A female surrounded by Arabs, male, and she can survive. Then I took her in. She said, she was earning like 80,000 ringgit a month. She said, I'm willing to come in for what? Half of that for national service. I want to be close to my mom. It's giving that opportunity. After, let's say, one year, because I am an institutional man. You need to address everything from an institutional level. So then I brought in, because you need to look governance, you need to look at marketing, you need to look at finance. What did I do? I took Amelia, who is also a Malaysian from Aspire Qatar as a CFO. So that is at the management level. Because why? When the president understands women's role or women's empowerment, these people will give the opportunity. But if overall, generally, majority doesn't do that, at the grassroots or at the NSA, it will still be like that. So we need to address, as I said, once at the council level, second at the management level. And also the other part is athletes commission. Yeah. For instance, as a president of OCM, my athletes commission chair is Datuk Shalin, who is also a legend, a bowler, a world champion. So once you have this woman, I mean, the word ceremonial is quite subjective. I think most so-called association, sometimes it runs by one-man show, you know, one-man operator, you know, because why? They simply don't have the ability and the resources to actually put full-fledged, you know, setup. Then comes to sponsorship and money. Some association actually can, you know, can entice sponsor, you know, Malaysia football, badminton, hockey. But what are the rest? They are still, you know, stuck with their routine, but they cannot expand, let alone talk about gender equality. So are there many issues that we need to address? And when you talk about whether it's ceremonial or not, of course, it is about getting the woman in which role. As I said, whether at the council level or whether at the management side. Prof, maybe that's the start. I can chip in.
Okay. Now, okay. Moving on from there, Datuk Marina, do you think that we should have a quota? This issue about quota, because OIC is pushing for quota 30%, and just now Mahesh was talking about it's easy to do that probably in the corporate sector, but in sport, we must have 30% quota for women, leadership position, we must reserve for women, or how do you go about doing that? Do you think?
I think to start getting that 30% to meet the IOC requirement, we need to have a quota. Okay? But again, then, my experience has been, if the opportunity is given to you, you must prove your worth. Then only will they look at the woman and say, oh, a woman can do this job. It's just like prior to my becoming principal of Bukit Jalil Sports School, they always had men, and they've had men after that. Okay, and the men after that, I don't blame anybody for it, because these are the people that worked under me and have been trained by me and seem to be the most suitable for that position. But I think it's like, you know, if talking about whether it's ceremonial or not, I think it's like if you were offered, like I've been offered to be chef de mission 2017 SEA Games, a few of the youth games, ASEAN schools and things like that. The most important thing for me is when I am offered, I always ask, what am I expected to do? And if it's just, you know, to be there, attend meetings and things like that, I will say thank you very much. I think anybody can do that job. So please, give the opportunity to somebody else. But if it is a role where I can do some good, like as the chef de mission, my main aim throughout the 2 years that I served as chef de mission for the 2017 SEA Games was to solve whatever problems the athletes had so that they didn't have to think about anything else during the training and competition. That's what I focused on. So in terms of quota and things like that, I think initially we will have to get the quota because, again, like I said, culturally, Malaysian women, we tend to defer to the men. I am also guilty of that because although I do a lot of work outside, I hold responsibility positions and things like that, but at home, I still serve my husband. Whatever it is, his food, his clothes, whatever it is, I still do it for him, you know. But it is my way of maintaining harmony in the house and a way of expressing my gratitude because he has allowed me to do what I want to do and has always supported me in whatever responsibilities I took up. So, but what I feel is like to implement maybe when we say we implement the 30% quota system, it will force people to look at women. Obviously, not 100% of the women who come in are going to work out. But if every single one of these women came in with a purpose, I've been given this opportunity. Like when I was given the opportunity to become the HM of Bukit Jalil Sports School, I was very frightened because I'd only had 4 months of experience as a principal, okay? And here I am going to a school where there's no difference in salary. You get the same salary as anybody else out there of head of any school, but you have to worry about the bus breaking down, you have to worry about the children getting sick in the middle of the night, you have to get worried about when the roof flies off, all these kind of things, you know. Any logical person would say, why do I want all those added responsibilities? But a friend of mine, Mr. Trapadi, a track and field coach, also told me, he says, Marina, you are the first woman, they have given you this opportunity. You can do something to change the lives of these athletes, you know? And I was given one task by the then director of sports division and later became director general of education. He told me, he says, Marina, if you do anything, improve the academic standard of the students in the school. Basically because, and I believe that is also very important because if you improve their academic standards and they start doing better in exams, they will have better self-confidence. You know, they can rely on themselves as, I'm not only good in sports, I'm also good in my studies. You know, I'm just as good as anybody out there in my studies. And that will give them that confidence. And secondly, what will happen is then parents' perception will change about participation in sports. When I first entered the school, parents didn't allow their children to come in and say, oh, you know, if they come to the school, they're going to suffer academically. So it took us quite a few years, but the perception has changed now. Okay? And more talented children are being allowed. So what is important to me is give the 30%, and those who have been given that opportunity, please use that opportunity to prove that you are capable of doing that job. Thank you.
Prof, can I just add on? Can I just add on the 30% thingy?
You can have it.
Okay, the 30% club that I referred to just now is actually we do train people to reach that level. Okay, it's all about giving them the opportunity and training. But there has never been a quota per se for 30%. Okay, because everybody, like we women, we believe we must be there on merit. Not because somebody says, you know, it's 30% or 40% kind of thing. So what we do is that we provide training, we provide mentorship so that these women, these ladies can be put into a register and therefore later they can actually go around serving, you know, various boards or councils or, you know, associations and all that. So it's important that we build that you know, that base, that foundation that we have so that, you know, they can move on. Most of the people who come to us are actually 30, 40 years old. You know, they're very young people, but they aspire to get to the next level and they want to do it fast nowadays. Those days, I had to wait till 60 to, you know, to get there. But nowadays, they reach there at 35, 40, they already reached there. Okay, so basically, I don't personally believe in quota system. I believe in training them to get there, and I believe in merit system. Okay, we must prove that we are as equal as them in terms of education, in terms of knowledge, before we actually get there. But I can tell you, sorry Tan Sri, most men, most men are not supposed to be there also. Okay, not every man, have to be there, because I can actually see that some of them are not really qualified to be there, but they are there because they are golf partners or something like that. Okay, it's just a comment. It's my own experience that I'm highlighting. Okay.
Yeah. Let me add, not to that. No, I think, first we need to know where we are at this point of time. How many percent now in terms of women representation? In corporate, I'm talking about in sports. The issues is that we kept talking, but action a bit, orang cakap NATO lah, talk only lah. Because it's the same guys. You go everywhere, same crowd. Yeah. So, as I said again and again, we need to institutionalize this. Where are we? Are we at 5%? If we are 5%, next 5 years, we need to attain what? Maybe 10%? We have to be realistic about what we want to do. And this, about being realistic, needs to, that's why I said, maybe I would suggest, when I talk about institutionalize it, to have a real, like a secretariat or a working committee, or even, it's like a foundation, whatever, just to start this movement, as I said, We need to do that. The like-minded, all these legends, strong woman personalities, you have to come together and set the blueprint. How do we move forward from here? Because as I said, you have to look at all layers, from the council, from the management, from the athletes, from the coaches. What are the representation in terms of percentage to all these things? Because this is very important. Because at the end of the day, like what Mahesh said, of course, corporate, you can see that whether that guy is, when at the level of C-suites or board, actually whether, okay, in terms of performance, we even evaluate board members, we evaluate each other, so that we know what will be the level and what are the gap analysis. We need to know the gap between what we want to do and where we are at present. But sports, very chinchai one, No one is actually looking it at a very systematic way. Until and when we basically put our house in order, then we shouldn't complain. Because we are the one who create our own destiny and fate. We want it to be where we are at present. That's why, problem dia apa tahu? Orang baik, macam Mahesh kata, yang berguna, dah jadi liability. Because you are surrounded by people who have a different set of thinking. They will take you out. And it will be very painful. You sincerely wants to contribute, and with the social media, they whack you until you like, okay, please lah, I don't need this. Now, we are in the world of social media. People can kill you, do a character assassination, and no one will come to your rescue. Serious, no one will come to your rescue. And when you are not paid, when you do volunteers, when you do for national service, when this thing happen, you think you want to contribute? And those guys who at the kedai kopi all the time without doing any job will try to hound you. Correct? So, this predicament, these are real issues that we have to address. And I'm talking on behalf of women. Women have to talk about their own future and come together and create this path. You need the pathway. I give you an example. When I go to Japan Football Association, you know what? Their mission and vision statement, 100 years. They even know when to go semi-final World Cup, when to become champion World Cup. This is about diligently following process. Tak ada proses apa pun tak jadilah. You know, as I said, when I came in, I have Chong Wei only. But what do I wait for another legend to come in? No. I need to just stick with the process so that I will produce world-class players. Cukup. If the legend comes among them, it's good. But you cannot wait. Tak boleh berdoa, please lah, come one legend. Because people are changing. People are changing in terms of structure. People are changing in terms of incentive. People are changing in terms of governance. People are changing in terms of marketing. People are changing about everything. There are new sports coming in every day. I was at Asian Youth Game. Our tag ball won 2 bronze medal. Have you heard about tag ball before? No. Now there are lacrosse, there are flag football. There are many sports coming in. These sports and this development comes like a Shinkansen, and we are still on locomotive. So, it is very important, as I said, it cannot be, perjuangan ini tidak boleh merupakan perjuangan berseorangan. Nanti you jadi sedih. Nanti you jadi, you rasa nak give up. Sebab perjuangan ini adalah kena merupakan perjuangan bersama. The like-minded must come together. Okay, Prof, just.
Okay, Tan Sri, I totally agree with you, but can I request that OCM help us out? Because we are talking about participation with women. We don't have a problem. I think right up to the Olympic level, we have 50% participation. So even in Malaysia, it's never been a problem because the schools, everybody's given almost equal opportunity to young girls, women, and all to participate in sports. Okay. Where the coaching is concerned, the Academy Kejulatihan, which is our national coaching academy, has got program for like women can coach and all that, where we focus on increasing the number of this thing, and we are working together with OCM to get funding to do higher levels of coaching and things like that. Okay, so where women coaches are concerned, it has started, and we will try and progress to create more women coaches. The area we are lacking in is in the management level, okay? It is, okay, every time you are appointed a manager, I don't think you are given any training, you are not given any list of duties and things like that. They'll tell you, you manage the team. So you learn along, okay, you try and solve problems. Wouldn't it be better if, let's say, okay, you are trained as a manager. If you're a manager of the team, this is what you got to do with the budgeting. You cannot create your own budget. In Malaysia, you have to create a budget based on government outlines if you are being sponsored by MSN. Okay? If you're not being sponsored by MSN, good luck. You can do whatever you want to do. But if you're being sponsored by MSN, that is being sponsored by the government, your budget must be based on government guidelines. All right. Second thing, as a manager, what are you expected to do for the team? Things like that. So I cannot see anybody apart from the Olympic Council of Malaysia who can organize courses like that, maybe through your Olympic solidarity programs and things like that, to train managers so that we have more women managers, more women assistant managers, and we do away with this title of chaperone. We don't need chaperones. Although for safe sports and all that, we need a woman officer, but let that woman officer be functional. Thank you.
Do you want to respond?
Thank you very much, Datuk Marina, about the role of OCM. As you know, every time we have election, one vice president must be a woman, and it doesn't stop other women to actually take other position too, but we make it a must for one VP. On top of that, our education chair is run by Moira Tan, who does ASMC, Advanced Sport Management course, and also other management courses. We are actually now tying up with a lot of universities. We are running courses for administrators, and this is currently happening. Yes, but I don't, as mentioned by Datuk Marina, I think this is still not enough. We actually have to bring the initiative to one more level, and we need to work together. As I said, the like-minded women sports personality must come together with us, so that we can actually mobilize using whatever resources that is given by IOC to undertake all this initiative. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. To add to that, maybe I forgot. Maybe, okay, this leadership training and things like that, what we need to do is probably have a register, okay, maybe we do already have, and encourage national sports associations to choose women leaders that fits the team from there, so that we can start training young women leaders. It's like this thing. And maybe for a start, we may have to paksa rela lah. Paksa rela to say that, okay, at least the women's team be managed by a woman as a start. Or if they feel that there is no women ready for it, you can have a men's manager, but a woman assistant manager to learn. I think that will be a good start.
Just to add on.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's getting very hot.
Sorry, Tan Sri, to put you on the spot, because like Marina said, IOC, we're talking about 30% women and all that. But in OCM, you only have one woman, right? But Norul is on the council. Moira is just... Moira, okay. But on the council is just one, right? There's 3 of them, or 2 of them. So maybe it's not 30% yet, right? So the other thing that I wanted to highlight is that maybe in OCM itself, you can have a 30% club kind of thing, initiate that there. And then, you can do all the things that Dato' Marina has mentioned to include it there as part of the terms of reference, so that, all these things are looked at. Give them KPIs. Sorry, I sound like a corporate person. Give them KPIs and all that, so that, they can achieve that. So that whether it's a short term, whether it's a 3-year term or 5-year term, then eventually we will get more than 30%. We may get 40 or 50% equal with the men. We're not saying that just throw us there and we get the position. No, we say we can train, we can come up, we learn, we create awareness and all that, and let's get there on merit only. I always believe on merit, merit only. We don't want everybody to just come in like that. So you need to identify the women, and probably all those sportswomen who are just about to retire. They can also come in already. You have to identify them early, maybe just 3 years before they retire or something like that, and put them in the system. Let the system work for everybody. Then at the end of the day, the sportsmen also have a career after sports. It could be like I said, like a plan B kind of thing. They can have their own employer, as well as they can do additional service back to the country. Just a suggestion.
Okay. I would like to add on that. Now the thing that, my challenge as a president of OCM is trying to also make people understand OCM's role. You see, when after independence, of course, the president of OCM at that particular time was Tun Razak, our prime minister at that point of time. And then after that, Tan Sri Hamzah Abu Samah. During this time, OCM was the so-called leading organization in terms of running the sport of the country. But after a while, then it changed. that role has been taken over by government, by ministers. They have the funding, they have the resources. We are currently left as what I always call a glorified travel agent. You know, we, we get zero from the government. We are just an NGO umbrella body. We are, of course, the owner of multi-games. We facilitate in terms of accreditation, you know, in terms of logistic, in terms of process of getting into the games. But money, everything is with the government. Yes. Of course, we have here and there IOC fund like what Dato' Marina say, Olympic solidarity and all those things. When I came in, that's why I am in the process of modernizing OCM. We even recently launched, officiate, get Prime Minister to come for our new Olympic house that is going to be in Bukit Jalil. You know, a state-of-the-art new building. Because why? Currently, we are located at the old sports city, you know, near the Stadium Merdeka, Stadium Negara, you know. It's no longer palatable for us to be there. It's no longer accessible to our stakeholders, like the athletes. If we are in Bukit Jalil, we are surrounded by so-called sports environment, you know. Nevertheless, yes, I take note about what Dato' Marina and Mahesh said. I think we have to work together. There are avenues to strengthen the so-called women empowerment and women roles in sports through OCM, yes. As a president, I am committed to support this agenda, you know, seriously. So that we can actually increase from whatever percentage. Mahesh corporate always talk about merit. You know, sometimes in sports, you talk about merit. What merit are you talking about? They said, you know, I give my life, I give my time, you know. I'm ex-sports, I'm ex-athlete, I'm a legend. What merit you're talking about? How to address that? When you want, and these people think that they are qualified to do everything. Governance lah, marketing lah, finance lah. Marketing and sponsorship now is very challenging. It's no longer like the old days. You go and see them, can you ask, please give us money, then the sponsor will give money. They will start ask about ROI. They will start about what are the intangible and intangible benefit that we have. What's your social media in terms of followers? These are things that some of them actually, even coaches, Dato' Marina, if you look at coaches, some of them don't want sports science one. Because why? They are old school of thought. You kerja, ada orang kejutkan student pukul 4 pagi, 5 pagi, for what? They said, dulu my parents did that to me. That's how I become successful. I run 10 kilometers every morning. So these things, this gap needs to be addressed. It doesn't matter woman or man, and this is happening at the moment. But this requires money. Mahesh talked about this merit and everything like that. I also talk merit most of the time. But when it comes for sport, where is the private sector? It's all now, we are wholly depend on government funding. Because why? Not like, maybe like Indonesia, badminton, there's a Jarum, there's Sempurna, their clubs are very strong. You look at Japan, you look at other countries, clubs are very strong. But here, we rely solely to the government money, and the money is shrinking by the day. But yet, people are using a lot of resources. Some of them go lotteries, you know. They do a lot of fundraising exercise. And we kept, fighting for this small pie to address all these issues. So, but again, I also agree with Mahesh just now. We cannot start, blaming and pointing fingers to people. Because why? We love this space. We are people who are passionate about sport. We want to grow this. We want to make sure that we are athlete-centric. We are, we are focused about the welfare of the athletes and the coaches and everyone. So we need to work hard to achieve that. Because you see what Datuk Marina rightly pointed out. You see, our present as administrator is what? Reduce process losses, increase marginal gain. That's the word. When the athlete goes to fight, when the athletes go for competition, we as administrator must ensure that our athlete perform to its full potential without having issues in terms of administration. Dia tak fikir dia kena bayar, kereta belum bayar lagi, dia tak fikir lagi, dia rumah sewa dia belum bayar lagi, dia ada masalah keluarga ke tidak. Those are the responsibility of the administrators. Reduce process losses, increase marginal gain. This again, as I said, back to, just to conclude these questions about OCM role, as I said, we are together with IOC, will try our very, very best to put steps to ensure this percentage of women will be increased gradually. IOC has this 2020 plus 5, the initiative. Okay, Prof.
Wow, that's a very interesting discussion we had here. Can we just digress a bit? I would like to discuss a bit about, our icons here. Women who have, made a name for themselves and for our country. Okay, do you believe, Datuk Marina, do you believe that women athletes of your era were forgotten once they were retired? And how do we ensure that history does not repeat itself? So I'm asking to the three of you. Are they being forgotten? Maybe only people in your circle knows, but the younger generation, I don't think they remember them anymore. So just now we were talking, Mahesh. So what do you think? Personal opinion.
Okay, yes. Answer is yes. Many women athletes of our era, memang they were forgotten. Mostly is because we didn't have social media then, right? So, macam now for us it's like as if so shock sendiri ni lah. We are so happy that we represented the country and we played, and then when we come and we got a medal, and then when we come to the airport, there's nobody waiting for us. Not like nowadays, the sports minister YB Hannah is always there waiting for everybody to come back, and give them and have a PC and all that. So we didn't have all that, and basically, we were the background. Okay, see Dato' Rajamani, she's there also. She's such a famous athlete, right? Can give her a clap. She's such a famous athlete, but if she were to walk around, how many of you would have identified her? Right? Not many of you would have identified her. So basically, we were there, we were in the sort of like in the background, we didn't have social media, and therefore, there is not much information on us out there. So, I don't know, yes, if the answer would be yes, we were forgotten, but I think the only way that, we can be remembered is that, in seminars like this where we are invited to speak, and then people say, oh, she actually represented the country, that kind of thing. Of course, Datuk Marina is famous lah, unlike me, so everybody will know her during that time because she was individual sports, and it's always out there, individual sports. Team sports are always lacking because probably you'll know one or two key players. You will know Minarwan because he's a fantastic player. There was one, it was like a one-man show. You will know Fukluk because he scored goals in the World Cup. You will know few people, you know, and the information may be passed down in various people. But it would be within your circle. Let's say if it's a hockey circle, it will be passed down in the hockey circle only. Okay, because they watch them play and therefore they want to play. Athletics also is the same, but individuals, of course, they are better known out there. Marina, back to you.
I'll tell you a little story. When I was first appointed as HM of the Bukit Jalil Sports School, I went in on the 1st of August, and we had our trial exams for the Form 5 people. And the results was a bit shocking to me, okay? So I spoke to the teachers. The teachers' perception was, one, what do you expect? These are all athletes. So I got very angry. I said, I was also a former athlete. Now I'm your boss. So that was that. Then I spoke to the athletes, the kids who were in Form 5. I asked them, I said, do you know who I am? They snickered and sende and all these kind of things. And then said, of course we know you are our pengetua. These are sports students, okay? So I think it is expected because what we see now is like, you know, even historians, people who have contributed to this country in other areas have not been remembered, except if you're really exceptional, then you come out in the textbooks and things like that. Maybe what we can do is, you know, like every, okay, like the Olympic Council, they have a Hall of Fame, okay? So those of us who have been up on a Hall of Fame, people go in there, they may remember and things like that. And where sports science is concerned, when we conduct the sports science courses for coaches, okay, we do one chapter on sports in Malaysia. We do talk a bit about this thing. We talk about people whom we highlighted, people like Nicole. You know, we try and name a few in various sports, so that the coaches also get a little bit of a feeling of what the historical background of sports is in Malaysia and things like that. I think maybe if we try to overcome this problem is only mainly through the associations. If each National Sports Association highlight their heroes and heroines, you know, and pass it down the younger generation so that they can, this thing they can do. I think where Mahir's, this thing, I think where, even though I am still recognized, but like I said, my own students didn't recognize who I am. I had to tell them, not ask their parents, but ask their grandparents. Because I was already in my 50s when I went to the sports school. Okay? So, but that is the reality of the situation. But I think social media is one thing, but then you have people like me who don't do social media. So, if you ask me about the national football team, during my time, I could probably name the entire team, Shukor, this thing and all these kind of things. But if you ask me about the current team, the only name I know is Arif Aiman. Because when when my husband watches football, that's the name I hear most often, okay? But during our time, when we were younger, MSSM is live on national TV every day. The newspapers had this thing, you know, coverage. Every local thing is covered. Right now, when we look at television, it's always international golf, international tennis, you know, what do you call it? Okay, now we have a lot of badminton. We see a lot of badminton on this thing, but mostly international. They don't show our local events. So how are our young people, you know, or the older generation like me going to keep up with what's happening? So I think this is, maybe we have to try and change the mindset of the media in this country as well.
You know, in Malay perumpamaan, harimau mati meninggalkan belang, manusia mati meninggalkan nama. this, I always say that, you know, give recognition when it's due. Yeah. But, you know, things in Malaysia has changed. That's why I said initially just now, if you don't recognize, you know, our legends, we don't recognize the contributions of people in our industry, there'll be one day where people would not want to contribute. There'll be one day where people would not want to be part of that industry. So it is very important for us to start looking into this. Because why? Now with social media, 10 kali you buat, okay, baik, tak ada orang cover. 1 kali you buat tak baik, terus jadi tak okay. And then everyone will jump the bandwagon to actually whack you. They don't even know you. They don't even know you. They start, you know, talking bad about you. Like rumors lah, you know, like people say in a kampung, one guy from one end of the kampung fell from a bicycle, just get a small injury, but at the end of the kampung, he died already. Yeah? So that's rumor mongering. That is why I think, you know, when we hear from legends, we hear from Datuk Marina, Mahes, this Datuk Rajamani and everyone. See, I always say this. Dulu, kita miskin harta, tapi kita kaya dengan jiwa dan pengorbanan kita. Hari ini kita kaya, tapi miskin perjuangan kita. Miskin minda kita. You know, this is what happening. Another thing is also about patriotism. If we love our country, we actually should recognize and love those people who have made our country proud. We must make that. And when I came into UCM, I have the choice whether I should stick in the old building or do not move anywhere. But do you know that? Datuk Marina said just now, Hall of Fame, museum. In OCM there's a museum. Who goes to that museum? The whole building is a museum now, with the people inside. I can tell you that. So that's why we are relocating to Bukit Jalil. If we have a museum, we have a Hall of Fame, budak-budak sekolah boleh datang, our new athletes, young athletes can come and see, you know, the contribution of our, you know, ex-athletes, legend, administrators or whatever. Forgotten. Not only ex-athletes are forgotten, administrators are forgotten, coaches are forgotten, everyone are forgotten. They slip into oblivion. They disappear. And people now talking about, yes, this one, woman empowerment, I achieved that. Pearly and Tina now people talk. Yes, women's, you know. People talk about the current athletes. They are millionaires. But whether they have the same feeling jiwa seperti atlet-atlet dulu, I don't think so. Because why? We are a pampered generation now. They go for money. Some of them, even with money also, they said, why you push me? You know? Because why? We don't train them to become world beater in our education system. So I have issues. For instance, when I was president of BM, okay, you want to be top 3 in the world. Who are your top 3 badminton? China, Japan, Korea. How to beat this civilization? Until and when your education system are equal or better than them, you will produce world beater. Because system dah berubah dah. Kalau kita lepak saja, relax saja, you think you want to achieve it, you cannot already. As I said, people are like Shinkansen, we are still on a locomotive. We are still being nostalgic our glory days. Oh, dulu kita menang Thomas Cup, dulu kita menang ni. Dulu kita baru semua muda. Betul? So, we need be realistic. We need to look at our own self, whether we have the necessary resources, whether we have the necessary people to actually build capacity or move forward. Until and when we don't have that, we keep talking, we kept saying, for instance, sorry to say lah, saya Presiden Olimpik kan, Datuk Marina ada, Mahes ada. How many ministers we have the last 5 years? Every ministers come change. And every time we have to kowtow and go audit the officer of the ministers. True. If you want to build a civilization, there's a 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like I told you just now about Japan Football Association, 100 years, then you will be able to produce that kind of civilization. DNA, jiwa, semua kena bina. When you produce athlete, they must have a soul. I have problem, so Ibu Ria dia ni. Kalau lawan tim badminton, lawan tim Indonesia, contohnya, the way Indonesian look at their flag is different from our players. They will die. Whether people on the street who are, pulling card dengan billionaire dia sama patriotism. No, I'm not kidding. They might be number 20 against number 1 in the world, but if you don't have patriotism, you will not die for the country. So, essentially, there are many issues. Kalau corporate, I tend to agree, Mahes. Simple saja. You tak nak ikut, I sack you. Because why? You are paid to do that. It's very simple. I give you probation, I give you everything. Everything is very, very clear and defined. But not in sports. As I said, it's all the same guys. I go everywhere, I see Datuk Marina, I see Mahes, I see everyone the same. We are the guys who kept talking about it. And I said, we all needs to come together. We shouldn't work in silo. We must build a movement that is very clear, have a clarity of thoughts, and very clear in terms of pathway, how to achieve it. Otherwise, we will be still talking like this for the next many, many years. Thank you, bro.
Just to add, I think so as not history to repeat itself, I think we must institutionalize the remembrance of all these athletes. One thing that OCM is already doing is creating the National Archives and all that. You were saying about the museum and all that. So it's already there. Then also the retired athletes, they must be embedded into various governance roles and that kind of thing. And educating the public and media is another issue. So they need to be educated to value legacy and not just celebrity kind of thing. So recognition actually isn't a luxury, it's actually a responsibility for all of us. Because when we honor the past, actually we would be empowering the future, right? So with that note, maybe I pass back to Prof.
Okay, Datuk Marina, before I conclude, do you want to give your last?
It's to be remembered is also a big responsibility, like Mahi says, because personally, I always remember not that I'm Marina Chin, but that I am a teacher. So how I behave outside and all that. So even if there was one year when I went to a New Year's party with my husband and they were dancing on the tables at 1 o'clock in the morning and things like that, I would just sit quietly in my chair and all that. And they were asking me, he says, why don't you join us and things like that? I said, I never know when I'm going to meet one of my students. And I do not want my students to see me doing such things. So that's this thing. But again, I think it's a responsibility, but also a great honor to be remembered, and hopefully we can inspire the younger generation to become better than us.
Wow, what a way to conclude our discussion today. Suddenly I feel so touched because I work at the university, and Tan Sri tadi you mentioned it's not just about sports, it's a whole system about how our society, things have changed actually. A lot of things have changed. Now students do not discuss with you anymore. They only use Google Translator. You know, I mean, it's a totally different world. Now, before I conclude, maybe what I can say is that, I mean, when Tan Sri, you mentioned something just now, and the three of you, it reminded me when we talk about bangsa tadi, you talk about patriotism, you talk about, feeling so proud wearing the Malaysian badge when you represent the country. I remember the words of Sukarno, bangsa yang besar adalah bangsa yang mengingati pahlawannya. So I do not know to what extent kita di Malaysia ini menghargai pahlawan kita. And all of you here, now I feel so touched. These are all our pahlawan. Give them a big clap, please. Thank you, Marina. So I conclude and pass this mic to our MC. What a way to end the discussion. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, before that, maybe ada soalan daripada penonton, peserta kita? Belum. Kita ada masa lagi sampai 10.45, jadi mungkin ada yang nak bagi ideas. Tak apa, saya bantu, Prof. Any ideas, questions? Okay.
Assalamualaikum. Saya gementar sikit slow sikit. Okey, assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi kepada Tan Sri Datuk Sri Muhammad Noza Zakaria dan Datuk Marina Chin, panelis K Maheswari dan Prof Madeline. Pada hari ini saya amat bangga, saya kenalkan diri dulu. Pada hari ini saya amat bangga dapat bersama dengan semua dalam dewan ini dan juga bekas atlet Malaysia. Nama saya Siti Fatimah binti Muhammad, bekas pelari pecut Malaysia dan juga 5 kali mewakili Malaysia di Sukan C. Saya juga sekarang ini bekerja di Sekolah Sukan Singapura, dah hampir setahun. Masih lagi bekerja di sana dan hari ini saya memang ambil peluang untuk hadir di program ni. Gementar sikit. Okey, saya juga mempunyai kelab olahraga BCT yang dikendalikan 2 wanita hebat juga, iaitu Bibi Nuriza yang berada di sana. Dia pun part of this program. Dan satu lagi jurulatih kelab BCT, juga pelari atlet Malaysia. Ada 2 pelari kat sini. Alright. Soalan saya kepada Tan Sri Datuk Sri, apakah pendekatan praktikal yang paling berkesan terutama sekali di peringkat akar umbi sekolah dan akademi?
Pendekatan macam mana tu?
Dari segi nak mencari lah kayaknya bakat kat sekolah kat akademi.
Okey.
Sebabnya dekat sekolah mostly kebanyakan lelaki, tak ada wanita. So macam kita orang tak diberi peluang.
Okey.
Terima kasih.
Seperti mana kita semua tahu juga, perumpamaan Melayu kata melentur buluh biar dah dari rebungnya. Kalau kita lihat hari ini, kita kena banyak investment dari segi personality dan karakter untuk kita didik atlet kita ke arah kecemerlangan, ya. Dan untuk ada karakter dan personality ni kena lentur daripada muda lagi. Dan hari ini kalau kita tengok contohnya lah, saya ada masalah bila kita ada 2 kementerian. Satu Kementerian Education, dia ambil sampai umur 18 kata, lepas tu KBS ambil. Proses tu saya tengok tak ada continuity. Proses tu melibatkan tertinggalnya kita punya generasi muda dari segi competitiveness. Sebab ada sekarang ni ada sport science, ada sports technology. Benda-benda ni kadang-kadang ada hanya di peringkat senior, tak ada di peringkat ni. Cara mereka menjaga diri mereka, cara mereka disiplin, cara mereka rehabilitate mereka daripada tournament, daripada injury mereka. Perkara-perkara tu tak banyak dididik dari segi daripada bawah. So you need to, I think, you kena perkenalkan perkara-perkara yang latest ni daripada awal lagi. Ya? Jangan tunggu mereka lambat sampai senior. Yang satu lagi bagi saya ialah you kena beri tahu tentang proses. Kadang-kadang kita punya atlet ni, dia tahu dia punya direction tu jangka pendek dia tak nampak penghujung dia. Saya ada masalah bila orang tanya saya, sebab apa, I have to be frank, sebab apa budak Melayu tak ada main badminton di peringkat tertinggi? Sebab kadang-kadang the pressure from the society. Pertama sekali kalau sekolah biasalah, nanti dah belajar, nanti dah lepas, nanti kalau boleh kerja dengan government, private sector kurang sikit. Kedua, bila dah sampai duit ada banyak sikit, nak kahwin lah, you know. So kita kena tahu. Contoh, I give you an example, Chong Wei. Even though he was number 1 or top 10 or top 20 in the world, he's still the first one to come to the gym. He was the last one to leave the gym, you know. Maksudnya disiplin tu kena ada. Kalau hidup tanpa disiplin, tanpa personality, tanpa karakter, tanpa tamadun, tanpa pembinaan jati diri, you can never be successful. Kerana dunia yang kita hadapi adalah dunia yang sangat mencabar. Dunia yang menuntut kita menjadi different, menjadi lebih baik daripada orang lain. Kerana hidup ini seperti mana yang kita selalu cakap, hari ini mesti lebih baik daripada semalam, baru kita berjaya. Hari ini sama dengan semalam, we still gagal. Tapi kita akan jadi celaka kalau hari ini lagi teruk dari semalam. So we need to address this issue daripada akar umbi lagi. Dan tentu daripada akar umbi, kalau kita betul do right first time, we will continue to be right all the way with some bit of adjustment here and there. Itu setakat apa yang saya boleh katakanlah. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Tan Sri. Saya buka satu lagi. Baik, silakan. Nyatakan nama, daripada mana?
Saya Mutiara dari Pahang, Pahang Rangers Futsal Club. Okay, first I'd like to thank OCM actually. I would like to clarify that during my ASMC, it was 50% women in the class. During my SAC also, it was 50% women in the class. So hats off to OCM. Okay. So when I interviewed, I have a story before I asked this question. When I was interviewed for Pahang Rangers, for the first interview, I was interviewed by a female HR, and I was rejected immediately because I was a woman for a men's team. Only that my boss, I was very lucky to have a president who believed, just like Tan Sri Noza, who believed in women managers. So I was called second by him himself to be called interviewed secondly, to be considered again. So my question is for Marina and Regis. What do you think that the most support that women needs by men to be in a leadership role? Thank you.
Sorry. I think the support that men can give us women, firstly, give us a chance to prove that we can do it. Secondly, the men around us, the men in our family, to support us. Is like, you know, like when I was asked to go to the Bukit Jalil Sports School, I know that it's a position that would require me to uproot, move to the school, stay in the schools, practically a 24-hour job in the school. And what I told my boss at that time was, let me discuss it with my family and see if they would agree. And when I asked my husband says, if you want to do it, I will support you. So the whole family uprooted and moved up to Bukit Jalil and all that. So I think basically, if you are the employer, it's to look beyond the gender and see if you have the qualifications that suit the requirements of that job and give you the chance. And the women, the men around you must be willing to support you in the sense that, you know, in terms of babysitting duties, in terms of, you know, accommodating, like, you know, if I'm not able to cook, my husband says, okay, I'll go buy something outside for us to eat and things like that. So they don't make you feel guilty that you're neglecting the family. That's what I think, that kind of support we need from the men around us to be able to do what we need to do without having to worry about anything else.
Just to add on to what Dato has mentioned just now, I think before you go for interview and all that, I mean, let's not talk about the men surrounding you. Let's talk about yourself first. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Have you got enough, you know, education in you? Did you, before you try for that job, are you familiar? You know, have you sort of like equipped yourself? You must have the confidence first in yourself. I mean, leave the men aside first, okay? We have that confidence that you can do the job. So if you have the confidence that you can actually do the job, then you should not worry, you know. You just go there and then make sure that, you know, the men, like Marina said, that you have that support from the men. Firstly, it comes from your family, your parents. It's really very crucial. I had a very strong father. So my background was more on compliance, discipline and all that. It was already in the DNA growing up. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is that you equip yourself first. Don't worry about people surrounding you. That is just, you know, the next part that you need to, you know, to figure out how to manage these people. And in my way, I mean, in my whole journey, one of the most important person was my CEO, because he was like a sponsor to me, you know. He encouraged me to keep on moving up, go for, you know, seminars, courses, get yourself certified in this and that, and, you know, move up. So you must find a sponsor like that in your organization or in your sports, you know, fraternity, in your association or your council. You must find a man who can really support you and move you up to the next level. Okay? You try to identify the person, and then, you know, it will be quite easy for you, because every issue or problem you can always socialize with the person to see what the other side thinks. Because we women, we always think, maybe we think one track, but you must always socialize with the men to see what are their thoughts on that subject matter, because it's very important to get, you know, a balance, you know, their view as well. So more often than not, I mean, this is a place where you need to socialize with everybody. You get the woman's view and you get the man's view, because that is the only way you can see your journey, how your journey is going to move. So I think, you know, what Marina said about family and what, you know, in the organization, you need the support from the man, get a sponsor, but most importantly, just make sure you equip yourself first.
I just want to put some comment on that question. Pertama sekali, thank you very much for highlighting the role of OCM, ASMC, SAC, where, as you rightly pointed out, normally we have more than around 50 to more than 50% women representation. You see, one of the things that I noticed when I in this issue of gender equality, you know, as a president of BAM last time, I believe in the word colorblind. I think we should now implement gender blind, you know. Because why? I see now, not even in terms of gender blind, I see sports also now become very polarized. Some sports are all Malay, some sports are all, you know, Chinese. These are things that we need to address too, you know. Dulu, if I look at hockey, for instance, you know, I'm from Seremban, you know. I'm a son of school teachers. My late parents both are primary school teachers. I'm the eldest. So you have this discipline, you know, jiwa. I always call myself aku anak cikgu, you know. So, because why? Last time, hockey players, you know, Steven Van Heusen, you know, we have Stamaria, Colin Stamaria. We have a lot of, you know, multi-racial in sports. That's great sense of competitiveness, you know, because you come from different culture. You kept, you know, motivating each other. You know, you exchange ideas. You exchange in terms of culture. That's sadly we are losing that, you know. So we have to address this issue of polarization in sport. We have to issue that, macam that lady say, you know, you should be a gender blind. I do agree in terms of merit, when someone needs to be looked as merit. Dulu, maybe when before I came in as a president of BM, you know, sometimes the one that spoil everything is the parent also. Because when they are so passionate about their kids, kadang tak pandai pun jadi pandai. You know, dia assume anak dia pandai. Dia assume anak dia world beater. Sekarang kita nak cakap dengan dia pun kita rasa, because why? They have this, you know, they pressure the system. You know? So, sometimes it is very important, very difficult to make objective decisions, you know, because of all this so-called biasness. I hope with all of us, as a coming together, macam tadi, sorry to say lah, in relation to the interview lah, I also worry when you say in one barrack all 10 women. 10 women, if they are all together, they also have issues with themselves. Yeah, sometimes you all kill your own gender. So you have to address that. Men is quite simple one, you know. So you all need to come together. You need to build that movement, as I said. Kalau satu orang tak boleh buat perubahan, kena beramai-ramai menginstitutionalize sikit. Perjuangan ini mesti diinstitusikan untuk menjadikan satu agenda besar. Agenda yang akan melahirkan satu tangible result. Bukan hanya omong-omong kosong. Bukan saja perkara-perkara yang kita keep repeating. Kita berada di tempat macam pergi bawa kereta roundabout. Pusing-pusing situ juga. Tak pergi kat mana. We must know where is our destination, where we want to go, how to achieve it. Yeah? Okay, thanks.
Alright. Katanya ada another question, one last question.
Right. Okay. Good morning, all of our panelists. My last question for all the panel is, if you have had to rank the problem restricting the achievement of women, what would it be ranked first for each all the panels?
I think for me, would be to try and get rid of the disparity between men and women for management. Because women have proven themselves to be good managers, but unfortunately, in sports in Malaysia, we still don't see too many women in the management level. We are trying. It's just like one of the main reasons I feel that I have been appointed as chairman of ISN is because I'm a woman who have, I must say that I'm a woman who have proven my capabilities in management, and that's why I was put there. Okay, so I think it's like we need more women so that the voices of what is important to women athletes for their performance will also be taken into account. Because sometimes men cannot decide on certain things. So it's like, because where coaching is concerned, we are trying now, we've got a program and things like that. So I think the first thing I would look into is how to increase the number of women managers and women in decision-making positions within the associations.
I think that the systems, the structure need to be re-engineered. The system needs to be transparent. The system needs to be unbiased. Then naturally everyone will have an opportunity, including men and women. Sometimes, like what Maya say, we are not putting the right people to the right place. Yeah. If the system, So if the system from the state to the national levels are all re-engineered and transparent, giving an equal opportunities to people who are qualified, and I believe the women will come in drove. Until and when the system is a hindrance to progress, until and when the system discourage or demotivate people to come in, then we will have mediocrity at its highest level. We will be drowned in the vicious cycle of mediocrity. Kita akan tenggelam dalam putaran ganas kesederhanaan yang tidak akan membawa kita ke mana-mana pun.
I agree with both of them, so I can just say ditto, right? But the fact is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to re-engineer the process and all that. Everything is there in place. It's just that there's no woman there. So we need to just re-engineer the process like Tan Sri said.
Okey, terima kasih diucapkan sekali lagi tepukan untuk semua panelis kita pada hari ini. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri, Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Nurza Zakaria, yang berbahagia Datuk Marina Chin, yang berusaha Madam Maiswari, juga Profesor Madeline Burma. Jadi kita persilakan ke semua panelis kita untuk kembali mengambil tempat kerana kita akan teruskan dengan acara penutup pada petang ini. Baik, kita teruskan acara pada hari ini. Sementara pembantu-pembantunya clear the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had a fruitful morning filled with knowledge and sharing and inspiration. And now it's time to conclude this meaningful forum with our closing ceremony. Jadi semuanya sudah bersedia? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our program, please, to continue our program this morning, please welcome Madam Nur Hayati Karim, Secretary General of Malaysia Athletics. Okay, we need the assistant untuk menaikkan podium. Sekali lagi tepukan untuk Madam Nur Hayati Karim, the Secretary General of Malaysia Athletics, to deliver her closing speech. Okay, minta semua bertenang. Breathe. Baya, you okay?
Okey, terima kasih ya.
Okay, Madam Nur Hayati. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Deepawali. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Muhammad Norza Zakaria, President of OCM, Vice President of OCA for Southeast Asia Zone, Honorary President of BAM Asia, Honorary Life President of BAM, Council Member of BAM World Federation. Yang berbahagia Datuk Karim Ibrahim, President of Malaysian Athletics. Yang berbahagia Datuk Marina Chin, Chairman of Institute Sukan Negara. Yang berbahagia Datuk Wan Hisham Wan Saleh, Deputy President Malaysian Athletics. Yang berusaha Madam Josephine Kang, Vice President Malaysian Athletics. Datuk Sri Harjit Singh, Treasurer Malaysian Athletics. Madam Ria, Representative daripada ADC Jakarta. Madam Soha Marzuk and Siti Adia Atawang, World Athletic Moderator. Professor Madeline Burma, Moderator for the forum. Madam K. Maheswari, former National Hockey Captain and esteemed corporate leader. Datuk M. Rajamani, our beloved former national athlete. Madam P. Savitri, our former national athlete. Madam G. Shanti and Madam Vasanda, our inspiring ambassador, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. For the past 5 days, since the celebration of Deepawali, we have gathered and lived together here at Mines Beach Resort. Through this journey, something truly happened and taken place. The Gender Leadership Seminar, specially designed by World Athletics, is not just another course. It is a transformational experience empowering women with skills, confidence, knowledge to lead, to inspire, to play a role to lead, and to actively shape the future of women in sport, especially in athletics. A total of 31 participants from both athletics and also other sports were here together, open their heart and strong mind, learning, exchanging and discovering the power that lies within the woman united by purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, this seminar marks the beginning of women movement in Malaysian athletics, a movement that builds women capacity, creates opportunities, the strengthen women present in decision making and leadership. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a long, meaningful journey, a long journey that where each of you, our proud participant, will go back to their respective states, association and zone to lead, to mentor, and to make the difference. Through our campaign, Lead Her, we hope this energy and commitment will continue until women's voices are not only heard, but truly valued and celebrated in every sporting organization. Today, we are here celebrating the closing ceremony. We are not just closing a chapter. We are opening a new page in Malaysian sports history, a page written by women who have the courage to race, the heart to serve, and the vision to lead. On behalf of Malaysian athletics, I wish to express our deepest appreciation to Majlis Sukan Negara MSN, especially the Women in Sports Division, who, for the trust and support extended to us hosting this important seminar. The Women in Athletics, the Women in Athletic initiative, first introduced by World Athletic way back in 2012, was created to promote women participation and leadership in sport. Today, we are proud here to share with you that Malaysia has taken the lead to become the first country, Malaysian Athletic as a member federation of Asia, to bring this initiative to life. And we are equally proud that Malaysian Athletics is the first national sports federation to move forward with this women leadership program following the path after KBS and MSN. We are the first national federation in the country who hosted the similar program for seminar and gender leadership. Leadership is not about position. It is about influence, courage, and purpose. And today, I see before me a room full of women ready to influence, to lead, and to inspire. Finally, on behalf of Malaysian Athletics, I extend heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries, moderator, partners, participants for your participation, passion, your time, and your belief in this cause. Together, let us continue to lead, to empower, and to inspire. And as we close this seminar, let us remember, when women raise, the nation shine. When women lead, the future thrives. Thank you. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Madam Nur Hayati, for your continuous leadership and strong commitment to empowering women in athletics. And now, we are proceed with the presentation of certificates of honor to the participants of the Gender Leadership Forum 2025. To carry on with our ceremony, we have the honor of inviting Madam Ria Stuti of ADC Jakarta, Madam Soha Marzuk, and Madam Siti Adia Tawang of the World Athletic Moderators, accompanied by Madam Josephine Kang, to the stage for the presentation of certificates of honor. To the participants, as your names are announced, please come forward to receive your certificates, and kindly once again to the stage for a group photo at the end. And now we begin with our first name. Please welcome Chu Siu Fong. Next, we have Alison Marie Blantokas. Next, we have Siva Sundari, anak perempuan Tanjapan. Next, we have Milda Motuin. Please welcome Lachumi Apalanaidu. Next, we have Roslinda Samsu. Please welcome Nurul Fida Muhammad Khalid. Next, we have Kantimati Kumarasamy. Please welcome Zalilawati Zakaria. Next, we have Rebecca James Stewart. Please welcome Yo Bi Yue. Next, we have Tamiselvi Periasamy. Please welcome next Zubaidah Abdul Rahman. Next, Nurul Faiza Asma Mazlan. Next, we have Koo Yoon Hyung. Next, we have Nurul Izzah alias Bibi Abdul Kadir. Next, Nur Khaliza Mahashim. Please welcome Erlina Zainal Abidin. Next, please welcome Ros Haina Abu Omar. Next, Bibi Suzati Indon Adabuna. Next, Suganti Jayaram. Please welcome Andriani Tambe. Next, we have Sabini Ampalagan. Please to the stage, Tan Chon Hua. Next, Nalina Devi Apalanaindu. Please welcome Nurul Shafika Mustafa. Next, we have Dr. Ng Sing Yi. Next, we have Nur Adiba Khairia Tiu Abdullah. Next, we have Norida Akmal binti Muhammad Khalid. And last, Chin Kim Har. Okay. Dan kita jemput sekali lagi kepada semua peserta untuk sama-sama bergambar di pentas. Dipersilakan. Okay, please put your hand together again for our participants. All participants. Okay, thank you, Madam Riastuti, Madam Soha, Madam Siti Adia for the certificate presentation just now. Next on our agenda, we now come to a historic moment. We take great pride in witnessing the launch of the Lead Her campaign and a visionary movement by Malaysia Athletics to amplify women's visibility and leadership in sports. Hadirin sekalian, marilah sama-sama kita tumpukan perhatian di LED and let's watch this inspiring short video.
Hai semua, nama saya Wasna Mariel Anthony. Atlet perempuan juga boleh setanding dengan lelaki.
Kita sebagai wanita, kita pun boleh buat seperti apa yang lelaki lah.
Saya bermula karate bila umur saya 19 tahun. Masa itu saya sudah habis SPM dan college dan saya sedang bekerja. Tapi saya punya cita-cita untuk menjadi atlet dari kecil lagi saya ada. Masa itu budak-budak perempuan tidak digalakkan buat karate ya ataupun bidang martial art kerana ibu bapa percaya martial art adalah untuk budak-budak lelaki saja. Masa I bertanding memang budak lelaki take control of karate ya. Atlet karate lelaki yang banyak diberi keutamaan kerana karate is contact ya. Ibu bapa takut yang anak perempuan ni akan cedera, nanti muka jadi tak cantik, gigi dia cabur macam-macam. Tapi so far semua sempurna ya, tak ada masalah macam tu. Saya selalu beritahu diri saya 24/7 macam doktor kena terlibat dalam bidang saya karate. Kalau tidak, saya akan ketinggalan. Even international, masa saya nak pergi Asian Game 2005 ya, Asian Game AKF, Sukan Asia 2005, masa tu umur saya 28. So ada saya dengar dalam meeting, even orang-orang atasan kata dia sudah tua, 28. So kita lebih baik bagi chance kepada budak-budak remaja 18. So saya kena berusaha dengan sungguh-sungguhnya membuktikan umur adalah sekadar nombor sahaja. So saya bertanding dengan budak-budak 18 tahun walaupun 10 tahun berbeza ya. So saya kena berlatih dengan budak-budak remaja, budak-budak lelaki untuk memastikan tempat saya dengan kemenangan saya. 2003 saya pernah buat surgery untuk knee saya. Lepas tu saya datang SEA Games 2003 dekat Vietnam, saya menang bronze individual. 2004 lutut kanan saya pula problem kerana saya terpaksa balik cepat untuk training sebelum saya sembuh sempurnanya untuk mewakili negara dalam SEA Games 2003. 2004 saya mengalami masalah lagi lutut kiri saya. So terpaksa pergi operation, sempurnakan saya punya fizio. 2005 bila saya balik, ramai yang tidak percaya yang saya akan menjuarai MAKAF kejohanan nasional ataupun kejohanan Asia. Tapi saya membuktikan yang saya memang yang terbaik di Malaysia pada masa itu.
Dulu lepas sekolah tu kan, saya terpilih masa tingkatan 5 lah, terpilih untuk mewakili Malaysia dalam acara hoki. Selepas tu memanglah tahun 1986 saya mewakili Malaysia ke Asian Games di Seoul, Korea. Masa training masa hoki tu kan, coach saya dia dah arwah dah, Lawrence Van Huzen, dengan saya punya captain Puan K. Maheswari lah. Dia nampak talent saya macam mana dia nampak, saya pun tak tahulah kan. Mungkin masa saya buat latihan tu dia orang nampak, dia orang bagi tahu saya, kenapa you tak try atletik? Masa tu lah lepas dia cakap macam tu saya pun pergi Asian Games semua. Lepas balik tu Maybank, masa tu saya dah baru dapat kerja dekat Maybank lah. And then dia orang panggil saya untuk sertai, dulu kan ada sukan antarbank, interbank. So dia orang panggil saya pergilah 200 meter, saya dapat tempat ketiga saya rasa. Dah tempat ketiga. Masa tu saya punya ketua jurulatih dekat Maybank tu arwah Istiak Mubarak. Dia panggil saya personally, cakap dengan saya rasa you ada talent, kenapa you tak cuba atletik untuk setahun je, dia kata. You try setahun, tengok kalau tak boleh you pergi balik main hoki, dia kata. Saya pun kata okey lah, saya akan try. Ramai kawan-kawan saya semua kata kan, you ni bodoh ke apa, you dah wakili Malaysia main hoki semua kan, so kenapa tiba-tiba you nak pergi, nak start daripada low kan. Saya tak bincang dengan siapa-siapa masa tu, saya buat keputusan sendiri. Saya kata okey lah, saya cubalah, dia kata kan. Ramai kutuk saya, semua kutuk. 1987 saya pergi selection untuk Malaysia punya kan. Tak terpilih lah. Saya pun sedih lah. Dia kata saya nak keluar. Kata saya nak pergi main hoki balik semua kan. Pasal saya tak terpilih. Tapi masa tu Istiak dengan coach saya Harun, dia beritahu timing yang you buat ni bagus tak? Tak ada siapa yang buat timing ni. Walaupun you kalah dekat tu, tapi timing you bagus. You baru tak sampai setahun you training dah dapat timing ni. You continue lagi, dia kata. Lepas tu tahun 1988 saya menang. Malaysia Open semua saya menang. And then terpilih untuk pergi untuk SEA Games tahun 1989. And then training and then SEA Games dapat tempat yang ketiga. And then 4x1 kita break national record kat situ. Saya rasa yang banyak memberi dorongan tu saya rasa budak-budak yang training dengan saya, budak lelaki. Bila saya dah masuk join Cik Harun punya national training, masa tu saya seorang je perempuan juga kat situ. So dia orang banyak bagi motivation kat saya. So dia orang kadang-kadang saya tak larat ke apa ke, dia bagi kata-kata perangsang, semangat semua kan. Saya terutang budi juga kat dia orang. Masa mula-mula saya masuk Spark kan, saya masuk dekat Maybank tu, saya memang tak ada kasut pun. Kasut tak ada, baju sukan semua memang tak ada lah. Bila saya guna baju sukan tu pun yang masa saya pergi Asian Games main hoki tu kan, saya guna baju-baju tu sikit lah. Dan memang kasut Spike semua saya tak ada. Yang kapten hoki tu Maisari, dia tu pun dia lari untuk Malaysia juga. So dia bagi pinjam kasut. Saya memang kasut tu saya guna, dia tak minta balik pun kasut tu. Saya memang tak mampu masa tu nak beli kasut pun, saya tak mampu lah. Lepas saya wakili Malaysia tu dapat sponsor Mizuno, then only saya dapat kasut. Kita ni sebagai wanita kita pun boleh. Kita dengan lelaki tu kita jangan pandang rendah ataupun mengatakan perempuan ni sebenarnya tak boleh buat. Lelaki saja boleh buat kan. Kita kena equal. Dekat Malaysia sekarang ni, wanita sekarang ni memang ramai dah pegang jawatan-jawatan yang tinggi semua kan. Kita kena tunjukkan dekat masyarakat kita ke atau kepada dunia, wanita boleh. Kalau kita berniat nak buat apa-apa, usahakan dan buat dia berjaya. Kita sebagai wanita, kita akan menjadi contoh kepada atlet-atlet muda yang menunjukkan kita sebagai wanita, kita pun boleh buat seperti apa yang lelaki lah.
Baik, to officiate the launch, we kindly invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Nurza Zakaria, the President of Olympic Council of Malaysia, to the stage, accompanied by Yang Berbahagia Datuk Karim Ibrahim, Madam G. Shanti and Madam Vasanta, the Lead Her Ambassador, with Madam Josephine Kang and Madam Nur Hayati for the launch. All right, now we kindly invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri to place your hand on the tablet. To officiate the campaign.
Welcome home Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Muhammad Nurza Zakaria.
You are about to witness history in the making.
Congratulations, Malaysia Athletics. The Lead Her movement officially begins today. Lambang, empowerment, and kita rasa macam superpower, superwoman in sports in Malaysia. Baik, kita teruskan. Tan Sri, majlis memohon Tan Sri untuk kekal berada di pentas untuk kita teruskan dengan acara penyampaian yang berikutnya. Baik, kita kembali ke zaman Tamasha Sukan Siap. We are now celebrate a story of perseverance and honor. After 55 years, Malaysia Athletes proudly fulfills its promise, presenting a replica model to Madam P. Savitri, who won her medal at the 1971 Siap Games. Okay, untuk makluman semua, pingat kesayangan yang dimenangi pada tamasya tersebut telah hilang dan kini olahraga Malaysia menunaikan janji menghadiahkan replika pingat yang dimenangi beliau pada Sukan Siap 1971. Silakan Tan Sri to present the medal dan info. Sebenarnya baju yang dipakai oleh Madam P. Savitri merupakan baju rasmi kontingen Malaysia ke Tamasya Sukan Siap 1971 dan ini adalah pingat, replika pingat yang dibuat oleh Malaysia Athletics khas untuk beliau. Congratulations Madam P. Savitri. Dan sebenarnya kami nak dengar sedikit ucapan daripada Madam P. Savitri. Dipersilakan. We would like to hear a few words from you, please.
Thank you very much. Like I said, it has been 54 years since I last saw my SIAP game medals in 1971. So it was a long, very long story. And it so happens that one of my students, my former students in school, she was the one who told me, no teacher, you must get your medal, you must get your medals and all that. And she went all the way to contact a few people. And here is she. She is the one who did all the work for me. I really thank her very much.
Okey, sekali lagi tepukan gemuruh untuk Madam P. Savitri. Baik, kita teruskan dengan atur cara yang berikutnya yang berbagi Tan Sri. Ya, kita ada beberapa lagi pengumuman di sini. Ya, pingat. Okey, sekarang ini. Okey, untuk makluman semua, pingat ini adalah daripada Olympic Council of Malaysia dan kita berikan tepukan kepada yang berbagi Tan Sri juga atas jasa dan pengorbanan mereka untuk kembali mereplikakan pingat tersebut. Tahniah diucapkan kepada Olympic Council of Malaysia. Baik, kita teruskan dengan seremoni yang berikutnya. Baik, untuk seremoni yang berikutnya adalah signing ceremony. Ia merupakan ceremony of National Athletic Sports Attire, a meaningful step forward as we mark another milestone in collaboration with High Racer. Okey, ini adalah brand High Racer yang mengikat perjanjian mereka dengan Malaysia Athletics selama 2 tahun. For this ceremony, we also would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri accompanied by Yang Berbahagia Datuk Karim and Madam Kathy Zhang to witness the signing by Madam Nur Hayati Karim as the representative for Malaysia Athletics and Mr. Wang Dong, the CEO of High Racer. May we begin the signing ceremony between Malaysia Athletics and High Racer. This is the first signature. And then, please change the document for second signature. And Madam Nur Hayati and Mr. Wang kindly hold the document for an official photo session. Tan Sri di tengah. Boleh? Okey, boleh tunjuk dokumen ke depan. Once again, congratulations to Malaysia Athletics and High Racer for this exciting new partnership. Terima kasih Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri kerana telah menyempurnakan signing ceremony sebentar tadi. Baik, majlis menjemput Tan Sri kembali mengambil tempat. We extend our heartfelt thanks for our honoured guests to stay on the stage for the signing ceremony earlier. And now, kita release tension sebab macam tegang sangat kan. Saya lapar sebenarnya. Okay, kita teruskan dengan satu lagi sesi, iaitu masing-masing dah scan QR code kan tadi? Okay, we continue our program with 10 lucky draw. Okay? Untuk lucky draw, kita nak persilakan Yang Berbahagia Datuk Karim untuk tekan tablet. Boleh bagi Datuk Karim tekan tablet di sini. Okay, untuk memilih 10 pemenang. Tapi kita pilih satu-satu lah ya. Okay, tekan. Nama yang pertama, Nur Izzati binti Abdul Halim. Okey, pemenangnya kena ke registration meja sebentar saja lagi. Okey, sebenarnya hadiahnya adalah 10 special seats that will win the official Sukma 2026 vouchers. Ya. Kita tak tahu lepas ni dia dapat apa. Mungkin dia akan dapat jadi apa saja. Terpulang kepada olahraga Malaysia selepas ini. Dan kita ke pemenang yang berikutnya. Datuk Karim macam nak print dekat Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara. Boarding pass Sukma yang berikutnya, Nur Khaliza Mahashim. Tahniah diucapkan. Okey, mungkin kita nak berpindah ke pencabut nama yang berikutnya. Yang lain mungkin Puan Ji Shanti. Kita tengok tangan Puan Ji Shanti pula. Mungkin bertuah, siapa yang bertuah menerusi tangan Puan Ji Shanti pula. Nama yang ketiga, Putri Raisya Sofia Muhammad Shah. Ada orangnya? Ada? Ke dah balik? Ada. Putri Raisya, tahniah diucapkan. Hadiah di meja registration. Dan kita nak minta mungkin Datuk M. Rajamani, please press the tablet. Ni, sini. Okey. Kita tengok tangan Datuk M. Rajamani pula. Nama yang keempat, Syamin Awatif Asfani. Ada? Ada. Siap tunjuk piece. Okey, kita ke pencabut yang berikutnya. Maybe Madam Ria. Nama berikutnya, nombor berapa tadi? 5 Sikit lagi. Rinisha Prima Desa. Siapa? Siapa? Ada di belakang. Okey, nanti klaim hadiah anda. Kita persilakan yang berikutnya. Madam Soha. Maziana Junid. Siapakah Maziana? Ada di belakang. Okey. Tahniah diucapkan Madam Mahes. Yang keenam. Siapakah antaranya? Nur Hidayah Hashim. Hidayani Hashim. Hidayah Hashim. Ada ya? Okey, kita teruskan dengan yang ketujuh. Profesor. Okey. Erlina Zainal Abidin. Tahniah diucapkan. Sila klaim hadiah anda di meja registration. Kita teruskan dengan Madam Siti. Madam Siti Adia. Nama sendiri, bukan? Siti Khadijah Samsudin. Okey, kita teruskan dengan siapa lagi? Datuk Marina, silakan. Nurul Faiza Asma Mazlan. Kita ada satu lagi Satu lagi. Okey, last. Tan Sri, silakan. Tangan bertuan Tan Sri. Lechmi Afalanaidu. Ada? Alright, tahniah diucapkan. Okey, tahniah sekali lagi saya ucapkan. Congratulations to all lucky winners. Please collect your vouchers at the registration counter. Okey, kita sampai ke acara kita yang kedua terakhir. Majlis mempersilakan Yang Berbahagia Datuk Karim Ibrahim untuk kembali ke pentas untuk penyampaian cenderamata kepada our panelists forum untuk hari ini. Dipersilakan Puan Josephine untuk mengiringi Yang Berbahagia Datuk Karim. Okay, Malaysia Athletic would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished panelists and moderator. And as we present this token of appreciation in recognition in their time, wisdom, and the inspiration they have shared with us. And please welcome to the stage first Madam Siti Adia Tawang. Next, we have Madam Soha Marza. Madam Siti, please stay on the stage. Next, we have Madam K. Maheswari. Please welcome Professor Dr. Madeline Berma. Next we have Yang Berbahagia Datuk Marina Chin. And Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Nurza Zakaria. Okey, kita teruskan dengan photo session. Baik, sekali lagi tepukan gemuruh untuk our distinguished panelists and moderator. Tetamu-tetamu kehormat, kita dijemput untuk kembali mengambil tempat. Baik, kita ke agenda yang terakhir, iaitu photo session bersama semua peserta di bawah. Okey, kita mohon kepada semua yang berada di belakang untuk bangun dan squeeze sikit ke depan. Bangun yang di belakang untuk squeeze ke hadapan. Kita nak jemput abang cameraman untuk naik ke atas pentas. Yang di belakang ke depan. Ke hadapan sebab kita tak nampak nanti muka anda. Okey, ada yang dekat sebelah sana tak nak bangun? Silakan bangun. Okey, boleh ya? Boleh? Okey, nampak semua? Okey, untuk partisipan, kita nak lawang apa ni? Lead her. Okey. Okey, dengan jeritan yang paling bersemangat. 1, 2, 3. Okey, kena ada tangan tinggi sikit lah, lead her. Sekali lagi, 1, 2, 3. Berpuas hati? Baik, terima kasih diucapkan kepada semua. Baik, majlis kita telah tiba ke penghujungnya. Congratulations to all participants. Terima kasih. Thank you very much to our distinguished guests and all. Okay, kita invite kepada semua untuk jamuan makan tengah hari.